Today, I'm going to be sharing how being part of a tribe helped me create my fuck yes life. Hey, FSB crew, a quick message to say 97% of you who watch or consume this podcast are not subscribed. Subscribing to the show really supports us to be able to grow and reach more people, as well as include and improve the quality and caliber of guests that we have on this show. Our goal is to get this number down to 70%. And so if you have ever received any value from the content and conversations on this podcast, please consider subscribing. It really supports us and the work that we're doing. Now, back to the show. Welcome to another episode of the Fathers, Sons, Brothers podcast. I'm stoked today to be creating this episode with a brother that you know, but maybe haven't seen for a while, and a guest who hasn't yet been on this show. Matt, welcome to the show. Good to see you, bro.
It's good to see you, man. It's great to be back on the pod. How are you doing today?
Good. We're back in Guatemala. We spent the last couple of weeks in Panama. Araminta had a training there, so we spent some time down on the beach in Panama at a place called Playa Venal. Esther seeded a new country, and Araminta was part of that. So yeah, it was good to be there supporting her, even though I wasn't actually physically in the container, but I was there on site. And yeah, good to be connected to the Esther tribe and the peeps. And so yeah, it's been good, and I'm feeling pretty grounded being back home in Guatemala, being in the studio, being able to create at a different level. I always have this this idea that I'm going to be as productive on the road as I am at home, and I keep all my tasks pretty much where I'm at, and then I get onto the road and I'm like, oh, today we're going to the beach, and I suddenly find I'd lose half a day or something. And so yeah, how's it being back in Spain?
Yeah, we're going through a bit of chaos as well with moving around. We are looking for a home, and we've spent the last few weeks looking at places and getting, not my order is the theme that's been coming up, is that we've been ordering this perfect house to show up into our world, and the houses that have been showing up have not been that. And so we've decided to just give it a rest. So we're loading up the camper van. We're going to do a couple of weeks just driving around and feeling nature. And I'll be bringing my work with me, my laptop, and of course, my wife and little Nilo. And yeah, that's the next phase for us. So we're packing up and getting ready to go, and it feels good. It feels real good.
Less sirens out in nature with the camper van.
Yeah, I know. I always hear you with your birds in the background, and here's me with my sirens. Yeah, Madrid. But yeah, soon I'll be out there. I'll be out there.
Nice one. So today we're going to be unpacking our journey into, yeah, the support of what it's really meant to have a tribe of men around us on our personal development journeys. And yeah, what Matt was talking about there, maybe you want to share your process of how you use some of the lifestyle design tools that we've been working on and talking about on the show to call in your perfect house. I know our special guest is also looking for a house, and he's part of the tribe and been using these tools too. But maybe share the process of what it's about to create your life by design while using a practical example of wanting to call in your ideal house.
Yeah, well, my wife and I do this exercise where we start with gratitude, and we have to convince the other person that we're vibrating in gratitude. So we go back and forth with things that we're grateful for. I'm grateful for Nilo. I'm grateful for the house that we're doing this in now. And once we reach that peak level of, okay, we're feeling awesome about and grateful about where we're at, then we shift into, okay, what do we want in a home? What are the elements that we want? And some of that's practical, like we want an outdoor shower, we want an ability to see things, like a view, a workspace, a training space. We want these practical things, but also we focus on the essence of how we want to feel. Like, what does it feel like when we're on our way home from a long trip in the camper van and we just can't wait to get home? Like that feeling of walking through the door and like, just feeling awesome when you're there. Or, I tend to work late at night. Sometimes late at night, I'll be up late working, and I'll stop, take pause, and like where I'm at right now, I can look up and see the stars and have that feeling of, wow, yes, I'm exactly where I need to be. And yeah, harnessing those emotions that we want to feel, and that piece of it, I find is the magic. And we put all of that onto a sheet of paper with all of the details, even the gratitude from that exercise, and that becomes a fixture in our home, so that we can see it, we can remind ourselves of it. And as we go on these house searches, we see elements of these synchronicities coming in. Like one of the places was we wanted interesting and cool neighbors. And while we were checking out this house the other day, as the sirens go off, this is not the feeling I want to feel. I don't want to feel, when I look at all the things I want, you get painfully reminded of the things you don't want. And but
It's
yeah, no,
called
as we go, we
contrast.
see these synchronicities of like, these neighbors who were like staring at us while we're staring at this house, like, seemed interesting and cool. And so, yeah, that it becomes a real known part of the search that if we don't do a pregame for our house, that we're not going to find the house. That's a belief that's profoundly anchored in ourselves and our family unit. So, yeah, it's a big part of it for us.
And so how do you deal with the pain of like going to see the perfect house and then it doesn't come around because of price? I know you've been through a few of those. Like how do you hold that vibration of like this is all going to work out when the universe sometimes sends you a curveball?
I mean, my last one, I really got a gut punch. I really thought it was it, and then it was like, oh, I was like, fuck, and like, there's a mantra that I've been holding ever since we got pregnant, and it's been getting me through so much. And it's this idea of I am capable, that I am capable of handling whatever life throws at me or comes my way. And I know that I'm on the right path. Like I am anchored in the direction that I'm going is the right one, and that everything that happens is perfect, and that I am capable of handling it. And so when I get a setback, I often fall back on that feeling of, okay, that wasn't it. I'm capable of pulling this back together, of finding another house and following my heart to what comes next and dealing with it. And yeah, that was a big piece of it for me. But yeah, I mean, those things happen, right? Like, uh, the orders that we think are ours end up not being. And
That the mantra for me is that rejection is God's redirection. Like the idea that something didn't work out according to plan is the pushing you in a different direction. And on that theme, which is not really what we're going to talk about today, but it feels alive, which is, we've just been going through this launch, which was a whole lot of life force and strategy and planning and investment in some traffic through paid Facebook ads. And along the way, certain things didn't go according to plan. And also just noticing myself getting pulled into like, oh, fuck, I had this very clear voice come up at some point that was like, oh, maybe this is not what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe men's work's not the thing you like some part of me that just starts to judge the situation by the data and makes up a story that somehow this is not what it is. And it's like, actually, no. And one of the things that's come from that, inverted commas, what felt like a failure is a redirection into something we're going to talk about later in this podcast, which is a new men's experience that we're really excited about. But the point of this episode is really for us to share and unpack our journey of creating these tools that Matt just shared now, these lifestyle design tools, and using them to create our lives by design. And this sort of happened in my world after watching The Secret and manifesting $1 million and seeing that there were certain things in my reality that had played a role that couldn't be described or explained by science or the paradigm in which I had been living. Anyway, so we get all excited about this. We create all of these tools and they're supporting us, and Matt and I are living our best lives. And along the way, I'm realizing that there's a slight like narcissistic component to this particular journey for me. Because I'm like, everything feels amazing, but I'm sort of on a solo journey. It feels amazing to create my life by design. It feels incredible to feel anchored and always in my flow, but it felt like there was something missing. And it was really only a few years ago when I stepped into my first men's circle that I suddenly felt like, the thing that feels like it's been missing for me has been community, having to be able to share this stuff with others. We'd been doing one-on-one coaching, but really to create a tribe of people around us and to incorporate these tools has felt like such alchemy. It's like we took what we already had, we included this technology of the sacred men's circle where men come together to show up in support of one another, to share what's alive with them, meaning speaking authentically about what's up, and then also receive reflection to be like, hey bro, I noticed that you spoke this way. That feels like disempowering language, but really calling each other forward with the best intention of wanting to support one another. And I really feel that this has been the piece that's really supported me on my journey. And I'd love to hear you, Matt, share what having a tribe of men around you has helped you level up in your life, like maybe a specific example or a general theme.
There's this. We have these transformational relationships, and those can be partnerships, right? Who people who we fall in love with, and they allow us to grow because of the vulnerability. But then there's these transformational relationships that come in the form of brotherhood. And for me, meeting you, Gareth, was like a profound shift for me from hanging out with a bunch of guys who go out and get drunk and like party in hostels every day to like spending time with someone who is either he has his shit together more than I do, and he calls me to a higher version of myself. Like you and I have worked through a handful of different things just through where our relationship has developed in honesty, that you can call bullshit when I'm telling a self-defeating or victim story. You can call me into power when I'm not showing up with money I owe you or money I owe the world. And like when I started when I met you and we started doing this work, I noticed that I called in more transformational relationships in the form of brotherhood leading up to us starting this men's work journey. And I can look at each of those profound brotherhood relationships as unlocking keys for me, because as men, I mean, this is definitely true for me. I would I would live on my own. I would struggle through something on my own. I wouldn't want to share a problem I was going through, and I would hold it until it would absolutely fucking crush me, and then I would break it out to a friend or someone in my world.
I hope they catch that bad
But now that
person.
we have this men's circle, like the container that we hold, that we've created here at Father Sons Brothers, allows that level of honesty to be present all the time, so that when we're dropping in with brothers, even if it's someone who's at the circle for the first time, we have a framework that allows for true reflections to be made to that brother. And yeah, it's like these little wake up calls that we get. Like I remember once I was hanging out with a brother. This was before we were doing men's work, and I mentioned something like, "Yeah, I'm writing bitch on the way home," because I was going with my girlfriend and she was the driver and I wasn't a driver, and I was feeling emasculated that I wasn't driving in Mexico. And he called me out and he said, "Bro, don't use that languaging. Why would you diminish yourself by calling yourself riding bitch, and why would you diminish her by uh, almost tearing her down for giving you a ride? Like
Or
both of
females
those
in general.
are wrong." Yeah, or females in general. And
Yeah.
like, I was just being cool, like, yeah, I'm just riding bitch. But like, fuck, that
Hmm.
one little interaction that I had with this brother Antoine has carried with me for a really long time. Like one little moment with a powerful brother who is speaking to you in honesty and holding that for you and reflecting what you're doing back to you
Mm.
is ridiculously powerful. And that's how I feel every month when we get together with the King Circle, every other week when we get together with the tribe. Like we have those containers where you get a dose of this medicine that if you don't want that medicine, or it's not a part of your life, you don't get it. And we're getting it consistently here in tribe, and I'm loving it. So I don't know if I answer your question, but
Yeah, so
that's what I
good.
got.
Yeah, I can share a practical example for me that's been a journey in my life. The brother that we're going to bring on in a couple moments has also had this dance with the medicine of cannabis. And I've noticed parts in my relationship with cannabis that have been at times perhaps a little bit codependent, where I've broken my integrity with myself and haven't always shown up in my power around my relationship with cannabis. And this last month, I was pretty clear that I wanted to be clear in my relationship with cannabis and take a break from engaging with cannabis. And so I used the men's circle to hold myself accountable to say, in front of these brothers who I love and trust, I'm having a cannabis free May. And yeah, there were moments in the month when I was like, I feel like relaxing, or I feel like engaging with cannabis in a way that I wouldn't normally have been able to say no to it. But the fact that I had to show up and I had this accountability with my brothers was a really important part of this journey, which I probably wouldn't have held myself accountable had I not been held accountable to the circle. And so accountability and integrity has also been a powerful part of how tribe has helped me level up parts of myself that some of these challenges I can't hold on my own. Like I wasn't able to say, I'm having a week off cannabis, because I would say that Tuesday, I'm like, oh, you've had a rough day, you deserve it. Like some story like that. But now if I'm accountable to the tribe, I'm like, I'm not doing it. I don't want to break my integrity with those brothers, and holding myself to that feels like an important piece for me. And so another piece that we've worked into the tribe. Should we chat to Alok? You're on mute. I don't know what happened there. If you still got your audio on.
No, I muted because Madrid was in the background. Yeah, I think let's bring on a look.
So this brother is a dear friend that I met in Guatemala probably close to 2 years ago. He may remember the date a little better. And yeah, came into our world again once we started sharing the podcast, and he showed up at a couple of King Circles. And as soon as we formalized the Father, Sons, Brothers Tribe, which is our premium membership, Alok jumped in straight away, and he's been an anchor and a pillar since then. And maybe I'm just thinking of something here before we bring Alok in. Matt, do you want to give a short explanation of how we've built Father, Sons, Brothers around our various levels, with the tribe being sort of a level 5 engagement? And yeah, just give a high level of what that is, so people watching this that are maybe interested in men's work can get a sense of different ways to be able to engage with what we're creating.
Yeah, so the idea around a transformational experience is it usually happens in person, right? Like you fly off to some destination and you go to a retreat and you unpack a lot of stuff about yourself and you come out world as this new being. And when we've been creating this experience for Father, Sons, Brothers, we wanted to create a pathway that a brother could follow that could ultimately lead to that experience of showing up and spending time with other brothers in a three-dimensional space and doing the work together, whether that's hiking a volcano or sitting around a campfire and really going deep with each other. And in order to get to that center nucleus that we're seeking, we've built a handful of layers. Like if you think about it as a circle going out, the outermost layer is what you're listening to now. This is the podcast and the social media where we share stuff that's inspiring and that's alive with us. Ultimately, trying to get brothers to come in and say yes um, to to joining this experience. So that might look like joining our private WhatsApp group, which is a community where men are uh, unpacking these topics of lifestyle design and getting real about these things that we're holding in our life and the solutions that we're putting in. And then it extends there deeper into the circle of different trainings that we have that we offer through Father, Sons, Brothers, like the first 4%, which is a way of claiming an hour for yourself every day so that you can show up full power to the things that you said yes to, your relationships, your responsibilities. After that, we have the King Circle Layer 4, which is a monthly event that we do where men come together, speak their truth, own what it is they're going through, and support each other. Layer 5 is the premium tribe membership. So that is a deeper commitment with men who are really showing up for this work, who are going through the lifestyle design training program that we've put together. And yeah, it continues deeper until ultimately we get brothers into our in-person retreats, like the one we're having in Guatemala next month.
Yeah,
Looking
so
forward to
really
it, Jeff.
just a recap. It's basically different layers and different investments at each layer. How much you want to engage with this work is really determined. You could sit and listen to this podcast forever. If you're a little curious and you want to dip your toe in a bit deeper, join our WhatsApp group. You'll have to share your email address and agree to the agreements that support that WhatsApp group. Confidentiality is one of them. And we've created very intentional spaces for men to be able to journey with us. And when they're ready to move to the next level, maybe they join us in a live experience like the King Circle. It's a Zoom container, it's a co creation. The King Circle is this idea that it's a round table where nobody is above anybody else. We're all sitting in a circle and sharing. Following on with our premium monthly membership, where it's additional content and diving deeper into men's work. Maybe it's a mastery program around a specific piece. Maybe it's money or relationships. We've got men inside the container that are supporting on topics like sexuality and improving your ability to be a better lover, right the way through to coming to an in-person event in Guatemala or wherever we happen to hold these. So yeah, we've wanted to create this because what we noticed is that the idea of somebody saying, yeah, I want to come for an entire week and be with men I don't know, I wouldn't have done that 10 years ago. I needed like a little path to get there. And so that's really why we've created what we've created. And so Yeah, let's
And also so that the men who make it there are doing the work. Like part of this magic of men's work is that we're not doing it alone. We're doing the work alongside of men who are doing it too. And like that's the magic of it. Like we want to get the right brothers. If our message is vibing with you, like come to a live event and feel this out, because part of everything we've built here is to get the right brothers here. Like this isn't
right.
for everybody. There's a ton of men out there doing men's work, and those aren't our competitors. It's just that those messages and what they're doing vibe with a group of men and allow those brothers to make their own transformations, and we have ours. And yeah, that's it. It's connecting the right people, the right brothers saying yes to this, and yeah,
And
that's what I'm
also,
calling it.
yeah, and for us owning the part of that which is like, I need this men's circle as much as I love holding it. I use it to hold myself accountable for the man that I want to become, like the cannabis story. Like without this men's circle, I would have to be seeking it out. And so it's as much a co-creation and an opportunity for us to share what we've created and create the space, but also for us to be able to use it for our own personal development, which includes having amazing men like Alok be part of our crew. So let's bring Alok into the fray. There he is. Handsome man. How's it, brother? Coming to us from California. Welcome to the
Hey,
podcast.
brothers.
Great to see you, man. How things
Great to be
going?
with you all. Yeah.
You are in California and also looking for a house. How's that going, bro?
Yeah, it's a journey here, and after traveling for a bit and coming back in, and after the pandemic, prices have gone up a lot. So it's always a journey. But actually, the tools that I've gotten from being part of this men's group, the lifestyle design tools that we've learned from the core scaffolding, that's part of the tribe. Once you join, is has been amazing. Really helpful on so many levels. Even my partner, who's not part of the men's group, we've been doing some of these exercises together. One of them that's really helpful is just writing down your perfect day. What would it
Mm-hmm.
look like to really be in present tense? What is your perfect day? So I've been really reading that in the mornings before my meditation, visualizing it, feeling it in my body. And so it actually gives me hope that I feel like I have these tools that I didn't have before, that I think that it really increases my chance of manifesting the dream place that we're looking for.
So good, brother. Share with our
And I've
audience
seen
what
you
it
do
is
it,
that.
Garrett. So
I know, and that's the thing, and we were talking about it. I don't know if you could hear us when we were off air, right? You were listening in. Like sometimes it doesn't work out the way we want to plan it. We have this idea
right.
of like we get tested by the universe, things don't work out according to plan, and part of the training is not only having the dream, but also being able to hold yourself when life throws you a curveball, when things don't go according to plan, when the launch goes sideways or you don't find the dream house and you get sucker punched or something like that. Is how do you genuinely hold that presence and really being there? And that's the idea of like measuring my personal growth is how quickly I come back to a state of calm after life shakes me. How long do I decide to stay like in a, oh my God, this is so terrible. Like, yes, I get triggered, but the quicker I come back is for me an indication of, where I'm showing up and getting better at like realizing that's mostly just a story that I'm choosing to hold, that life's somehow unfair or the world around me isn't the way it's supposed to be. What are you laughing at, Matt?
Bro, it's just such a good barometer. It's such a good barometer, and like that is the measure of it, right? Like if we like I lost my shit today. I lost my shit today, and I showed up to this call just completely fucking in emotional shambles, and I had the tools to go emotional release. I did it, and now I am feeling good and in flow. And I think from the level I was feeling when an hour ago when we were prepping for this call to now, like I am proud of myself for getting back to,
Mm-hmm.
and what a great tool that is. Like what a great measurement that is. It's like because I've been on benders, I've been on emotional benders where I've been in the closet for 2-3 days of like smoking weed and just not wanting to talk to anybody, binge watching shitty Netflix shows that I've already seen, but I'm watching them again anyway, stoned, just wallowing in a victim or some sort of like getting my story straight so I could win some argument against somebody that doesn't matter. And I'm laughing because I can see that, yeah, the fruit of the work is evident right now for me, seeing my own personal turnaround in under an hour. So, yeah.
Alex, share with
That's
the
awesome.
world what you are passionate about. What brings you joy? What are your gifts that you want to bring to the world?
Wow, yeah, that's a big question I've been dealing with as I enter my midlife. But yeah, what I'm teaching today an animal flow workshop. So I love movement and helping people find strength in fun, playful ways through yoga, martial arts, um, animal movements. And personally, I had back pain since I was in high school, and about 10 years ago, healed it and have been pain free for over a decade. And, I attribute that to, my awareness through movement practices that I've, developed through all the different teachings. But that's one thing I'm really passionate about. I also do body work and help people with issues in their body. And really, the bigger picture is when I teach retreats with my partner and I, we teach together, and it's about transforming your life back into that heart-centered space. And yeah, like you guys are teaching in this men's group, how to be accountable for yourself, but have create that tribe that holds you accountable and always brings you back to that place of, oh yeah, I am the creator of my life, and I can design my life in the way I want to. And we have power over that. We're not powerless. And when you come to realize that, it's like a whole nother level of being on the planet, right? And it's really cool.
Well, I can share something about your magic that's really supported me. We did a trail run together here at the lake, and yeah, I remember you sharing the power Dantian point and really focusing my energy there when I ran. I tend to run, if you're watching the video, like bent over and just fucking go for it, like sort of. But the most relaxed position is really picking up out of your hips, feeling in your most upright position and focusing on this power center. And that shifted so much for me. So yeah, I don't know if you were aware that you even gave me that gift, but it has been really, really powerful. And I'm excited to see how you continue to share your movements with the world. And maybe just for somebody who hasn't heard of this before, what is animal flow?
Yeah, so it's this particular Animal Flow was copyrighted by this guy Mike Fitch in Colorado. He created it about over a decade ago, but it's gone worldwide and become its own thing. There's an app and all that, but it's quadrupedal movement. That contralateral strength that we kind of know as a child, that we learn how to crawl. When we walk, we move our opposite hand and foot, but we kind of forget that as adults because we're sitting so much. So this helps us get back onto our feet and hands and get off the yoga mat and move around like animals. It's great core strength and helps you really build those postural muscles that I think so many people, we tend to get rounded. And it's been a life changer for me for the last 5 years doing this movement. I feel stronger than I ever have, and I don't need a gym. I just go outside and crawl around. So it's great.
So
It's really
good,
fun
brother.
too.
And it looks so good as well. Like I watched some of your videos, and yeah, so there's something about watching somebody who knows how to move that a part of my animal is like, I get that, the mental mind is making sense of like, well, what is going on, and trying to make a story about it. But some part of the animal in me is like, I think we're supposed to be able to move like that. So yeah, really resonating with that. And I'm excited for how you continue to bring that to the world, bro. I know it's something that you're working on, and I see so much need for that, to get men back into their bodies, and the medicine that comes from doing that.
Right. Yeah. And then the other piece is just connecting to nature, because I always try to do it on the earth, and grass or whatever, but just finding that grounding energy of the earth and getting barefoot and hands on the earth. It's so great, especially if you've been on the computer for the day. It just rejuvenates and nourishes your soul. That's what I find.
Well, bro, you've teed me up perfectly to talk about something that we're going to be creating this week, which is it's a new experience for us, but it's going to be a 30-minute guided walking meditation where men from anywhere on the planet can dial in. We're going to run 3 different events, and all you need is a smartphone and a set of headphones. And like Alok said, take the opportunity to get out into nature. It's an audio only experience. You put your headphones on, and for 30 minutes, you're going to walk through your local park or nature trail or wherever you've got access to nature in your city. And if you don't, you can still do it out in the street. But the ability to just take a break, turn your phone on to do not disturb, and to be in a collective space with men that are walking alongside you on the planet, while also just tuning into your intentions and creating this future state. Because what Matt spoke about at the beginning of this, and Alex spoke about as well, is the process of manifestation is actually sped up, not when you think about it with your head, but when you really start to feel it in your body. The more dense vibration of feelings and emotions are what speed up that reality manifesting into the third dimension, what you can actually see and touch. And so when you spend time for 30 minutes vibrating with gratitude, walking as your healthy, best, most abundant version of yourself that's clearest, while also connected to the field of other men that are doing this guided meditation alongside you, it's super, super powerful. And like Alok said, just being in nature, the nervous system starts to relax. You start to get to a place of ease and flow where the mind starts to slow down, the mind chatter starts to take a break, and you can really, from this calm and centered place, call in what it is that you really want to manifest. So we're going to leave a link to that below this video, and we're super excited to see how this unfolds, because it feels like something new. The King Circle is amazing. It's a 2-hour Zoom call that happens once a month, super powerful. And, nobody really needs another Zoom call unless you're really in a place looking for community and with space for other men. But I think anybody can find half an hour to take a break from what you're doing and use this meditation to step into the best possible version of yourself, literally and figuratively, by walking in nature, being guided with a powerful transformational experience included. So yeah, we'll leave a link to that below. And yeah, Alok, you've been part of our tribe since the beginning. Maybe you want to share something else that supported you on this journey, as the transformational path, combined with having a tribe of men around you supporting you while you're going through this journey. Anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, a big part of it's just the accountability, like you guys have been talking about already. Yeah, I think I've been a part of other men's groups before this, but this one, it just seemed like that, like you're always talking about a round table, like there's not that hierarchy that some other groups have where, there's the guys that have been in there since the beginning and, the leaders, and then, everyone else is new. But this one always feels like, even with the new brothers that are coming in, we're all on equal ground, and we're sharing and being vulnerable together and supporting each other to become better humans. And so that, to me, like you've mentioned already, it just, there's a level of accountability that I know, even when I'm, oh, no one will know if I, break my promise to myself. But there's another level when you have a group of men that you have to report to every month, or twice a month, that it does increase your level of accountability towards yourself. So that's one of the biggest things, I think.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I want to echo that. There's something about looking another man in the eye and telling him you're going to do something. It's like, I don't want to say it's like man code, but it feels like man code. Like we have these sort of biological agreements that, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I told you I'm going to do it. And that's like you said, an extra layer of accountability to make sure that we get that thing done. And yeah, part of Gareth, you always talk about this magic of men's work, and like, trusting this container. And I think that's part of it. We're harnessing these hardwired tendencies that exist for us as men, and we're using them to our advantage by going into these containers with honesty and speaking our truth to each other. So yeah, amped that
Yeah.
we're all doing it.
Yeah.
Bravo to us.
Hmm.
Well, you
I
boys are
would say
amazing.
one more thing,
Bring it.
just really quick, if you're in relationship like I am, is just having this group to really share what's real for me, and not put my partner as my therapist, and have to share everything with her, and that doesn't usually go well. So having the group to be vulnerable with and share what's really going on for me in my heart, that's super helpful on my relationship.
I mean, Matt had the exact same experience coming into this call, and I've had the same thing in a call before where I've had my own stuff happening in my relationship where things don't feel unicorns and roses, and I'm like, yeah. And if I don't have a space to outlet that or to be able to share it, it feels like I carry it by myself, and too many of those start to get heavy.
Right.
Definitely.
All right, brothers, that's a wrap. Really beautiful to have had this co-creation. Alok, thanks for taking time and jumping in at the last minute. I know you have to teach this afternoon. Matt, I know you have your mother-in-law holding space for you, and I know you guys are getting ready to go on the road, so thank you for taking the time. For those of you that are watching this or listening to this episode, links to everything we spoke about today, including the King Circle, our monthly men's gathering, 2 hours. It's our flagship premium event that takes place on the last Sunday of every single month, is really the place for you to be able to step up and use some of these themes that we've been talking about today to hold yourself accountable, to bring what's alive so that you can put down some of the rocks that you're carrying in your backpack and leave after 2 hours feeling lighter and ready to serve your mission. The walking meditation will also be linked up in the show notes of this episode. And that's a passive opportunity for you to engage with a tribe of men by just going on a walking meditation for 30 minutes, get into nature, put your headphones on, and use it as an opportunity to reset while also stepping into the best possible version of yourself. Thanks for checking out this episode. Matt, thank you, bro. Good to see you. Alok, I love you, my man. Thank you, bud.
Thank you, brothers.
Peace.
See you soon. Ciao, ciao.